Hi, my name is Chris Close. I'm doing the photography at the Edinburgh International Book Festival for the exhibition at front of house. And welcome to backstage. Welcome to my studio, which is an open air studio, as you can probably see. In fact, it consists of a rather demoralised piece of white paper which has taken a battering thanks to yesterday's rain, but it still seems to do the trick.
I was wondering about the backdrop actually. Why don't you use the ones that the other photographers use, which is green?
Because I like working on myself, first of all. I like the fact that the white backdrop has a real isolation quality. It almost feels like it's shot in the studio, but it really just means your focus of the attention is purely on the author. Green is fine, but if the author comes in wearing a completely clashing colour or wears green themselves, it takes on a whole different mood to the photograph, whereas white keeps everything very clean and simple. It does have the odd crease as well, obviously, but I can live with that. Everyone comes in and gets treated the same, whether they're a new author or an established or a politician, whoever. Everyone comes in and go, "You're in this tent, press, we're in this tent, and Chris, you're outside."
That's a question. Aye, what happens when it rains? What do you do?
You get wet. There is actually, if you spot over there, there is a gazebo there, which interviews take place in there, and also I've kind of hijacked it for doing the odd portrait. I prefer working outside, funnily enough, because I think the authors they feel it has that open air fear and it's less intimidating. I think as soon as you put walls around somebody, they start to feel a bit enclosed. So I prefer working here when I can, but if it rains, then that's where I go.
The expressions that we see on some of these photographs around the Charlotte Square site are just fantastic. What do you say to bring these images to give to life?
Just really cheeky. I don't know actually. I just try and have a conversation, find out about the author beforehand, try and have a conversation, and again, it's a case of some people you will get on very well with, and others it will be quite hard. The very first one I did, and no disrespect, I always feel guilty if I don't get a really good portrait of somebody, because I think it's me that's done it wrong, and it's not the other way around. But the first one was quite hard to do. But then other people surprise you, like Pamela Stevenson, who I thought was going to be quite hard work for some reason, and she was very chilled out and laid back, so that's always a nice surprise. The kit I use is a ring flash with a Nikon camera. I use a ring flash primarily because I like the light it gives, but also because it's a very quick way of working. I couldn't set lights up for every author because the sun's changing and everything's changing, so when I first did this 2 years ago, I opted for using a ring flash, which makes it fairly quick. It's quite cumbersome, it's a bit heavy, but it keeps the lighting uniform for everybody.
And have I seen you printing these out here? I've seen you with spray, some kind of spray as well.
I take these home and then I print them in the evening, and I bring them back. I have a sealant spray because I have to protect them against the weather. If it was inside, you wouldn't need that quite so much. But I need to coat them with a spray, so I worked out some system of rivets and rods to hang them. So they've got to be fairly tolerant to the weather because they can take a little bit of a battering, but as long as they last 2 weeks, then that's enough.
And have any disappeared?
None have disappeared. A couple have been vandalised. A few moustaches drawn, which I suspect is the odd school kid walking past going, "I'll give that person a moustache." There was a call, funnily, went out one year when on the radio system it said, "Carol Ann Duffy has fallen in the aisle." And of course everyone went rushing out thinking the Carol Ann Duffy had fallen in the aisle, and what they meant was my picture had fallen down, it had come untethered from the marquee. So, but no, none have disappeared, but a few people do take pictures of them, or quite a few people will walk in and actually photograph the photographs, which I always think is quite flattering, so that's nice enough.